Greetings friends, Chaos here. I am over my cold and the only thing left is a lingering cough that usually sticks around for a week or two after I get sick, but it is much better today, so I am finally able to record today's video. Thank you all for your patience and the well wishes, I really do appreciate it. So a few weeks ago, Terraria released its final update, and many of you have been asking when I'm going to cover that content, and the answer is right now. This unexpected yet very welcome update is a ton of fun. It takes two games that I absolutely love playing and combines them in a small, fun crossover update. The update adds a new world seed with new mechanics, a new boss, and a lot of new weapons, pets, and other items. But as you all know, this is a building channel, so I've taken my time and I've thought about how I'm going to approach talking about this update from the perspective of a builder. As a content creator, I want to lavish nothing but praise on this crossover because it's a show of love and passion from two different developers and two different communities. It is a fun update that adds important early game content to Terraria, and I want to say nothing but good things for it because Relogic keeps going well and above beyond, showing that they truly love this game as much as we do. But in all honesty, as a builder, this crossover has left me asking, what if? Don't get me wrong, I love this update. The boss it adds is really fun, and more importantly, it gives you something new to do pre-hard mode, which is a huge bonus given that most of Terraria's content comes after defeating the Wall of Flesh. But strictly from a perspective of a builder, there's really not much to work with in this update. Perhaps that's okay, because 1.4.0 was basically the builder's update, giving us things like journey mode, block swap, and hundreds of blocks and items to use in building. But as this is a look at this specific update, I have to give my honest critique. So there will be some spoilers for the update in this video. If you want to check it out yourself, now's the time. Let's take a Terrarian builder's look into the Eye for an Eye update. Most notably, the crossover doesn't add any new blocks or walls to Terraria, which is a bit of a letdown because there are a lot of unique looking materials in Don't Starve. There are some furniture pieces for us to work with, however. By wearing a music box while fighting the new boss, the Deerclops, you can gain one of them. The new soundtrack is great, and I absolutely love the way that the music box looks when you place it. I've tried making record players in the past without much success, so it's going to be a lot of fun using this music box as decoration. Additionally, as with every other boss in Terraria, defeating the Deerclops can sometimes yield its trophy, which can be hung up on a wall, and if you're in Master Mode, you will also get its relic. The only other furniture that is added in this update are 4 paintings purchasable via the Traveling Merchant. Each of them are a large 6x4 size, depicting 4 of the playable characters from Don't Starve: Wendy, Willow, Wilson, and Wolfgang. Off topic a little bit here, but every playable character in Don't Starve has their name starting with a W except for Maxwell, which his real name on the wiki is William Carter. With that in mind, it would have been pretty interesting to see Whitney the Steampunker show up as a character from this crossover. Maybe she could have started off with some gears and a weak flintlock pistol or something fun and added some Terraria inspired mechanisms to the game, but that's a bit off topic for this video. So we have the trophy, the relic, and some paintings, and well, that's it for building materials in this update. Seriously. There are 2 items that might affect you as a builder, but nothing else can be added directly to your builds. When defeating the Deerclops, you can sometimes receive an item called the Eye Bone. This is a pet which summons Chester. Unlike other pets in Terraria, you can interact with this one directly. Right-clicking on it gives you access to your piggy bank storage. So essentially this is like a money trough that never despawns, and it follows you around, which is absolutely amazing. It essentially makes the money trough obsolete unless you want to use another pet. So before we look at the last item in the update that might affect your builds, let's look at the special world seed that this update offers. If you generate a new world and name the world seed the Constant, which is the name of the realm that Don't Starve takes place in, you'll notice right away that everything looks quite a bit different. Among some big changes like the surface spider caves, a starvation system, and a new threat in complete darkness, the world seed applies a visual filter, making everything appear a muted brown color, which is more in line with what you would see in Don't Starve itself. If you defeat the Deerclops, another item that you might obtain is the radio thing. This is a vanity accessory which removes the lighting filter when on the special world seed, or it applies this lighting filter when you're on a normal world seed. I really do like the way that the filter works, but I feel a bit mixed about the accessory itself. In the past, Terraria's handled light filters via furniture items called monoliths. This gives the builder unique control over a filter when it's applied. We could turn them on and off with wiring, or place them in strategic locations so you wouldn't have to have the filter everywhere. But since this is an accessory, it only affects the player that's wearing it, and the builder cannot fine-tune when it is or is not used without asking people to equip it or remove it in specific locations. Essentially, I love the way that it looks, but I don't see myself ever using it beyond some very specific scenarios such as this video. And that pretty much covers everything that 1.4.3 has to offer for builders. It might sound like I don't like this update, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. I absolutely love the new hunger system and the darkness mechanics, though I do wish they weren't tied to the specific world seed and there was a way of porting them over to other worlds. And I do think the boss brings a great deal to early game. But since this is a building channel, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say that there was a lot of missed potential in this crossover for builders. Both of these games offer very unique things, which could have worked beautifully together. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to be doing some landscaping and builds inspired by Don't Starve, while I talk about what I wish had been added to the crossover for both games, though admittedly, it'd probably be more work than either development team would be able to put in for this kind of update. Now, I know this is going to sound like it would be a lot of work, and it would, but the one thing that I really think that would make this crossover come to life would be biomes. Both games offer some really unique and interesting biomes, which could bring a lot of new fun experiences to both communities. For example, I would take either the Crimson or the Corruption into Don't Starve because I feel like they would be a perfect fit with the theme and mood of that game, and they would look really good in that art style. The Crimson and the Corruption would slowly creep across the land, converting or destroying valuable assets, and you would have to craft items to stop and purify them. Terraria's enemies could be seen in this biome, and they would fit very well in Don't Starve, and I would absolutely love to see Clay Entertainment create their own version of the Eater of Worlds or the Brain of Cthulhu. Biome unique weapons such as the vampire knives could make it into late game in the crossover as well, and fit quite well actually. And if I had to pick one biome to bring into Terraria, it would be Don't Starve's Swamp. Maybe. I might also consider the whole nightmare realm thing with shadows jumping out at you too, that'd be really cool. But with the swamp's murky wasteland, that's just something that I've wanted to see in Terraria for many years now. Just picture the mucky landscape full of dying, thorny trees, which could possibly harm you on contact. Lots of fog and haze fills the air, and the ground is thick and sticky with small pools of water dotted around. Reeds spread up across the biome for you to harvest, adding new blocks, walls, and plants to work with. You could be attacked by mosquitoes, or suddenly a tentacle could spring from the ground, lashing out at you. Occasionally, you might see a small tattered shack, which houses merms that viciously charge and attack you. This biome could give you access to some new blocks like the marsh block, which would act similar to honey, but it's dripping wet and looks like mud, and maybe it generates a fog on top of it. You might get some new materials from the trees or the merm huts. The tentacles could drop its leather, which could be used in combination with the new wood and reeds to craft a series of Don't Starve themed furniture. And plus, since we already have the tentacle spike, it would make sense to get it from those guys too. Currently in the update, when you wander around the new world seed in Terraria, you occasionally will find a white painted statue. The thing about this is, it's just a normal statue that's already available in Terraria. It's just been painted white. These are a reference to the marble statues that you will find in Don't Starve, but there are other interesting things in Don't Starve that could have made it here. Imagine if instead you might see a statue that looks like it's a chess piece. When you approach it, it comes to life and then it begins to attack you. Defeating it could drop a unique statue for you to decorate your home with. Or perhaps while you explore the swamp, you find a fleshy mound on the floor, which opens its mouth as you approach. If you dare to interact with it, it will swallow you up. But rather than devouring you, it spits you out at the other side of the wormhole, far away from your previous location. This becomes an early way of traveling from one side of the large world to another pretty quickly. Breaking the wormholes, however, maybe would destroy both ends permanently. Or maybe they could be craftable or placeable. Who knows? Another aspect that can make it into the crossover could be deep underground beneath the swamp, where you might find some more merm villages, thorny bushes, some strange glowing plants, and maybe you could pick them and transfer them to your own builds or use them as crafting materials again for some more unique Don't Starve themed furniture. Rarely you could find massive tentacles, which maybe are the reason that there are tentacles up on the surface. These would ignore you until you attack them, but when you do, it causes an earthquake and small baby tentacles spawn and swarm you. It could be a sort of mini boss encounter where you can't actually break any of the blocks in the area, similar to the old one's army, and you have to defeat the large tentacle before you could harvest any of the underground swamp blocks. This risky encounter could even lead to some really unique rewards, such as plantable tentacles that when you plant them, they defend you. So you could essentially set up your base with some unique traps early game. And those are just some of the ways that I think that Don't Starve would have crossed over with Terraria in a bit more of an impactful way for builders. Again, I do love this update already, and I do love that after all of these years, Relogic still continues to show their love and support for this amazing game and community. I just had to talk about this update from my own perspective as a builder. In that regard, it does feel a little bit like a missed opportunity. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed my take on what Don't Starve Swamp might look like in Terraria. Let me know in the comments what other crossovers you'd like to see Terraria do for their next final update. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and a comment. It really does help the channel out. But before I go, a special thank you to the biggest supporters for this month: Dragon Rider, Duke Samron, Hippic3, Matt Dragon, Nate Wiley, Sean Stiller, Lumi Evie, and Nick Peasley. I'll catch you all later. Happy building.